Okay, so let's imagine you had to learn a list of 10 or 15 words, some really important, intense words that you already turned into a picture. One looks like milk, another looks like sugar, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now you use the 11 words that I gave you earlier on. So synesthesia is using your senses. Okay, so we start with visual. Okay, so we go through our senses and change it around. So number one is a rocket, and we want to link it with milk. So which sense can you use seeing? So I see milk. I can see milk. Okay, so now I have to put some movement into it. So milk would move like water, and then I associate it with I have to switch on the timer so that we're not doing more than 5 minutes, and then we come back to it. Okay, so here we go. So so I said number one is a rocket. Maybe the rocket looks like a milk bottle and there's milk in it, or that's the fuel of the rocket and it moves like water. I associate milk with cows. So maybe the cow is the astronaut, and there was humor right there. So I use my imagination, using more imagination, and what the cow does, the cow gives more and more milk, and it's actually the fuel of the rocket. And what number is it? Well, it's number one. And what symbol would it be? It's a milk cow. That's my symbol. What color is it? Well, don't fall for the white color. We don't want to use white. We want to use a different color. So let's use the rainbow colors. So I start with red. Okay. So red for me is communism. So it's a Russian rocket. It's a red rocket. The label is red. In which order does it go? Well, there was a cow first that goes into the milk bottle, and then it gives the milk, and so on and so forth. And let's make it more positive. It is actually a rose, a red rose. Okay, that's the image here, positive image. And now I need to exaggerate. So when it is in space, it opens up like a rose, and it makes our whole solar system smell really nice. Okay, so with this crazy story, I'm saying rocket, milk, done. Number two is a swan and sugar. So what does the swan have to do with sugar? So it's a really sweet swan, and S is for swan and S is for sugar. And I use now sound. My sense is sound. What kind of sound does it make? Like the sounds that these birds make. Okay, so I can imagine that, but it's really harsh sound. And what movement do I put into this? Every time the swan moves, or let's say flies, it releases sugar, and it's like snow. It's just snowing down on the earth. And I'm just ad-libbing here. I'm just using my imagination. I'm just making it up at the spur of the moment, on the spot. Okay, so I'm not reading this off. Okay, I wouldn't write such nonsense. So association, sugar is something sweet. It's not good for my body, so I try to avoid it. So how can I make it more funny? What can the sugar do? Yes, the sugar actually turns into cubes and like dices. And when people throw the dice, they can choose which illness they get Well, it's not funny, but I'm not coming up with anything else. Now I use my imagination even more. And then if the human being has thrown the dice that they get a terrible disease, the swan comes along, picks up that dice, and the human won't get that illness. What number is it? Well, number 2, that is a swan. Symbol. Which symbol could I use for sugar? Well, I use, I'm just telling you what's coming up in my head. It's a skull, you know, like with the bones on it. Sugar means death. It's a poison. What color do I use? I'm not using black. I want to stay with the rainbow colors. So after red comes orange. Okay, so why is it so orange? Yeah, there's the swan flies into a sunset, and that was roughly 5 minutes. I'm stopping the video now, and I come back to you with another video. Okay.